right, we're back in Studio K with Squinny. Do you all want to introduce yourselves? The names and your instrument?
Yeah, my name's John. I sing and play guitar. We got Asa, he plays keys and guitar. Nate plays drums, and Toby on bass.
Sick. And we just heard Gout, Kill the Lights, and All My Life, correct? And I've heard All My Life has been described as your most requested and precious song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So right now you have that out on streaming, correct?
Yep. That and
singles.
an EP. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the recording process for those like?
For All My Life, we shacked up at River Rock Studios with our friend Kevin, and we just, over the course of an evening, ran the song a bunch of times, did a bunch of just like live tracking, not talking about structure or anything like that, just kind of letting the song emerge. So yeah, what you hear is probably like take 5 or 6 or so, and lay down a little bit of steel. Anything else on that track? I think that was about it. Yeah, a lot of love.
A lot of love.
Yeah.
I could hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was kind of curious about your guys' songwriting process. What's that
Yeah,
like?
I come to the band with a song. They usually start on acoustic guitar, like finger picking songs, and then everybody adds their sauce, and it eventually turns into like a prog psych sort of monster. But they have very tender beginnings.
Cool. So it's my understanding that not all of you are Minneapolis natives. Could you?
None of us, actually.
None of you.
Yeah.
All right.
Ace and I are brothers, and we are from Iowa, just south of Des Moines. Nate is from Eau Claire, and Toby is from Seattle.
So yeah, do you want to run us through how you all ended up here and
Sure.
playing music together?
So Ace and I go way back. Day one. I played music with Nate in like 2019 before the pandemic. Squinny was a 2-piece for a while. And then obviously there was the pandemic. But Toby and Nate have played for, I don't even know how long, like 10 years now, in a bunch of different projects.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And so for a variety of different reasons, we all kind of scattered during the pandemic and then came back together, and we shared a house in South Minneapolis, the 4 of us, along with like a couple other people. And so we just jammed and wrote songs and stuff. It was a duplex. It wasn't like a super cramped situation. It was reasonable. But that's the origin story, I suppose.
Cool. And do you want to tell me about how you guys all individually got into playing music? Like, what were your first instruments? What were the first bands you were
Sure.
super into?
Yeah, my first instrument was violin, and then I always wanted to be in a band, so you kind of have to play guitar for that. So, cut my teeth doing a lot of acoustic finger picking, and then just, the fuzz psych thing came later.
Yeah, a piano was my first instrument, and so that's why synthesizer is a fun place for me to experiment. I came into guitar playing relatively recently, last 3 or 4 years. Heavily influenced by Radiohead, Tom York, and so a lot of that textural stuff and the loud, quiet, loud music style is really fun to play. And Jonah's songwriting gives me a chance to experiment. Really, put some of that into the world.
When I was a little kid, I wanted to play saxophone, and my dad was a drummer, and he said, "We can't afford a saxophone, but you can play my drums."
My first instrument was piano, but I mostly played cello. So I did, at some point in college, I did the like School of Rock cello. It's a bass, 90-degree turn. Haven't looked back.
That explains.
That's not true. I still
fretless
play
bass.
cello. I have looked back.
Toby's nice with the cello.
Cool. Yeah, so you mentioned being influenced by Radiohead. I was kind of wondering, like, are there any specific bands you guys are really influenced by? Like, was there kind of a vision for a sound when you started this band, or?
Not really. Like, this is like the target we're aiming for. But yeah, I feel like Radiohead's big for all of us. King Giz, obviously. Oh yeah, I love Pat Metheny. Pat Metheny's I was the first concert I ever went to. I was 4 years old. So
Dope.
yeah, a little bit of Pat Metheny, and then like St. Vincent and Andrew Bird. I feel like that's kind of the formula, the secret sauce.
Cool. Yeah, I could hear elements of all those, but yeah, cool combination of sounds. All right, I'm gonna get into the questions that people really want to know. Squinny, where did that name come from?
Yeah. So like I said, Ace and I are from just south of Des Moines, Iowa, and in the like 515 Des Moines region, called Chipmunk Squinnies. And so it's just a funny word and kind of a, throwback to our hometown where we're from. So there you have it.
Cool. That's a good story.
515.
Yeah, 515. What's up, Des Moines? Warren County, Polk County.
And what can you tell me about Green Bean Records?
Charlie said he was going to Nardwuar us. And that's, didn't disappoint. When I was in college, I lived in a big greenhouse and we had shows and, did the music thing. And our house was called the Green Bean. It was like the name of the DIY space. And so DistroKid lets you name your record label. And again, throwing it back to Iowa, this time the 319 People's Republic of Johnson County, Green Bean Records. There you have it.
Cool. Is there any other music out on Green Bean Records, or it's just Squinny?
No, just Squinny.
For now.
For now, yeah.
Sick. And so, yeah, it sounds like you guys have come from all over. Now that you're based in Minneapolis, how would you say the scene compares here, like compared to other cities?
It's larger than the scene in Iowa, believe it or not. No, it's great. We all play in different projects that kind of run the gamut of sounds. Like Nate and I are both in folk groups, and but you've got like the folk world and also the sort of punk hardcore stuff, and we fit somewhere in between, I like to think.
Cool. I can definitely hear both of those. All right. This is a question we like to ask everyone. If you could have a dream bill, you all make the lineup. You each pick a band, and you can all decide the venue together.
All right. You guys ready?
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, cool. I actually told them I was going to take this question, so I came prepared. So I picked 4 groups that are from Minneapolis, one from Duluth, that I feel like if you threw them in a blender, you might get the Squinny sound out. So first we'll do Alpha Consumer, and then Babes in Toyland, Low,
Nice.
and then Leo Kottke is a massive influence on me, and he, I believe, still lives in Minneapolis. He did for quite a number of years. But we'd probably do it at Ice House. I feel like that's probably the only venue that could safely accommodate all 4 of those groups.
I'd go to that show. That's great. Did you guys all want to pick a bill too, or
That's the band bill.
that's
We
all right?
discussed
That's for
it.
everyone.
Group
Yeah,
consensus.
that's right.
Group consensus.
I didn't strong arm that question or anything.
Cool.
Minnesota Bill.
All right, yeah. Just final question: is there any shows coming up or recordings you're working on, or anything you want the people
We
to know
have
about?
a show this evening at Underground Music Venue with our pals from Chicago, Billy Joel Jr. They are a group, not a son of said Billy Joel. And then we also have a show February 7th at Cloudland with our good pals Another Heaven and Full Catholic, and there will be a Liquid Light show. Our friend Soup, not of aforementioned food, but Soup Lights. Anyways, 2 shows coming up, and then we're recording an album this year. So keep your eyes on the line.
Can you tell us anything about the album, or it's
It'll be kind of like what you just heard, I suppose. But we
Cool.
got some tricks up our sleeves, so I don't want to say too much.
all right? Well, excited for that. Yeah, thanks so much for coming in. It's super fun. You're listening to Radio K, Real College Radio.